into the interesting news of the day. Like, Joy, Aaron Rodgers has been a very peculiar figure on and off the field. I've been fascinated, I don't know if you all have noticed, by Aaron Rodgers at the Knicks games, Aaron Rodgers at the NHL games.
He's been to 4 events in the, week that he's been there.
Literally, Aaron Rodgers is doing things we haven't seen him do. But, Shady, there's one thing he's doing that I don't necessarily like.
What's that?
Recruiting former players that he played with previously that can no longer play the game at a high level. Not recruiting former players that he played with previously, but can no longer play the game at a high level. I know Randall Cobb, know him personally. But Randall Cobb is not the same Randall Cobb of old. For the Jets to sign Randall Cobb leads me to believe, Shady, they're giving Aaron Rodgers too much power. I want your input on that. You've played with high-level quarterbacks. You think Aaron Rodgers is getting too much power with the Jets?
No, I'm going to say no, because a player like that, and he's the one that's going to take you over the top, you got to make him feel comfortable. You got to, his requirements, his needs, you try to fulfill it as much as possible. Now, I do think that, it is a little crazy, though. Like, Alan Lazar, Randall Cobb, you bring them guys over as a front office, as a head coach, as a GM. I don't feel like I made my team better by getting these wide receivers. I'm just being honest. They're okay to have. Randall Cobb he may coach the young guys, how to prepare, because that matters. But if you're going to bring a veteran in, a mentor, don't pay him like that. Alan Lazar, he's okay. He's a possession receiver. And I feel like the guys they had in the room for the Jets was really good wide receivers. It wasn't receivers that was the issue.
Correct.
It was the quarterback. You bring the quarterback. So I guess I get it. I get both ways. Where one is, all right, we got to make it comfortable for our quarterback for the future, obviously.
Let me ask you this, though. You played with Tom Brady. You won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, obviously, for the viewers unfamiliar. Tom Brady brought in some people, too. So let's not act like Tom Brady didn't do it.
Yeah.
But however, correct. That's where I was going to get to. Tom Brady brought in Antonio Brown. Tom Brady brought in Rob Gronkowski. Tom Brady brought in future Hall of Famers, unquestionably, if not for off-the-field issues when you talk about AB. He brought in some dudes.
Right.
Does Aaron Rodgers get that same leeway? Is it that Aaron Rodgers isn't as good as Tom, or is it that Randall Cobb ain't good as AB? What is it for you?
A-Rod, I will be honest, he did earn that respect. Hey, who do you feel comfortable playing with? And he gave him the names. But as a GM, as a coach, he's like, hey, hold up, A-Rod. Let's have a better conversation. Who else can we get can help us down the line? Because I feel like them guys they okay guys. If a defender on another team, the Bills or the Dolphins, with them stacked secondaries, they're not worried about Alan Lazar or Randall Cobb. So my thing is, I understand you bringing in certain players, but they got to be certain caliber guys. If Randall Cobb might retire next year.
Yeah.
To keep it real. And then Alan Lazar, they gave him $44 million? For what? Not the hate, but he's okay. He's all right. He's what's your... Number two? Number three?
I would think number 3.
Number 3?
It might be number 3.
You banging on the door to get the number 3? I don't know. A-Rod gets what he wants, but as the Jets, don't get like the Packers. Don't start getting bullied. You watch the Packers get bullied for years. The Jets, don't just start getting bullied. Come on now.
Are we sure the Packers got bullied? Isn't that why we're in this situation?
They've been getting bullied for years. What do you mean?
They sure as hell aren't giving A-Rod a ton of talent. That's why they're in this position. They're drafting quarterbacks over receivers in the first round. I just hope... My take on this, I hope the New York Jets are not surprised by this. I hope the New York Jets realize that this was going to be part of the package. Because otherwise, if they're not, this reminds me of getting a nice... You got a nice house, Acho. I've been there. It's very nice. Imagine...
It is nice.
Imagine putting down the down payment. You got the mortgage. You got all... You cry a little bit every time you got to make a payment. I hear you. Real estate's expensive.
You crying?
Imagine you do... all that work on a nice house.
And then what?
And then after you're in it, you got it. You're like, man, I don't know about these electrical outlets, y'all. I don't know how this looks. We're quibbling about this when you gave away multiple first-round picks, when you hired Nathaniel Hackett, and I'll say it again, that was done deliberately. They hired Nathaniel Hackett to help get Aaron Rodgers. They flew out to California, all the Jets brain trust. Aaron, we'd love to have you. You are our best bet to get this thing on track and get into the playoffs. And now we're quibbling over Randall Cobb. Yeah, I hear you. I think Randall Cobb he's near retirement. He might be retired.
He's at 1,000 yards in 8 years, bro.
The point is, are we going to quibble over a guy that'll be wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6?
We will. I will tell you why, but I'm more interested to hear what Joy has to say. Joy, do you think Aaron Rodgers is getting too much power with the Jets?
No. I'll give you another analogy. You chase this girl, You've been chasing her your whole life, right? She's a little older now, you know what I mean? She's like a tiny bit past her prime, but she still look good. You finally get her. Like, you've been trying to date her forever. And then you mad because she want her friends to come over and chill. You can't be complaining about that.
Exactly.
You didn't spend your whole life looking for this girl. You didn't give up everything. You didn't have to sell your car so you could get her to move with you. Nah, no complaining. You knew he was gonna do this. I've been trying to tell y'all don't listen. He's been doing this. Why was Randall Cobb there in the first place? Because he wanted him. All of this is what you do. You get Aaron Rodgers, you gotta get everything that comes with Aaron Rodgers. They knew that. Trust me, the Jets are not mad.
They shouldn't be.
The Jets shouldn't be mad, and especially the Jets, because he's out of your league. She was out of your league anyway. Who are the Jets to complain and talk about bringing people in and recruiting and what they think about? Excuse me? I want to consult you. When was the last time that you won a playoff game? No. I actually don't need to consult you if I'm Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron might not be doing the right thing, but it doesn't matter.
You're in, baby. You're committed in the.
Let me say this thought, because hopefully this thought is somewhat convincing. I think this is the most necessary conversation that's never had on TV, which is why I really abhor the Randall Cobb signing. Shady, you might understand to some degree, because you were there, you left right prior. When rosters get imbalanced, teams get bad. The third wide receiver and the fourth wide receiver are supposed to play special teams. It is imperative that they play special teams because rosters in the NFL are a number game.
Right.
You got 47 players active. Your starters can't play special teams. So take, for example, if you were at home, the kickoff unit. Outside of the kicker, you got 10 other players that have to play. Your 2 backup linebackers on the inside. Your backup tight end, that makes 3. A starting safety and likely a starting nickel, that makes 5. Still 5 players I have to fill. Your backup tight end, that makes 6. Your third string running back, because it won't be your starting running back, it won't be your third down running back, that makes 7. Now's where it gets dicey. Your backup defensive end, that makes 8. There's 2 more positions left. It is usually your third or fourth string wide receiver. Now, why does that matter?
Both.
2014, I was on the Eagles. We had the #1 special teams unit. 2015, we acquired Miles Austin. Y'all remember Miles Austin from the Dallas Cowboys.
Sure do.
Now we had Miles Austin on punt team. We acquired Kiko Alonso, unfortunately, for LeSean McCoy. So that moved our starting linebacker to starting on punt. That happened. This happened. I'm going to tell Shady exactly what happened. Now we got a starting linebacker, Michael Kendrick, starting on kickoff. We go from the best special teams unit in the league to the 10th best special teams unit in the league. We go from 10 games won the prior season to 6 games won and Chip Kelly fired the prior season for other reasons. Okay, let me really personalize it and make some people's feelings hurt. The biggest play in the Super Bowl, this past one, Eagles versus Chiefs, wasn't the fumble, it was the punt return. What happened on the punt return? Go back and watch the tape. T.J. Edwards, a beast starting linebacker for the Eagles. He gave up coverage in his lane. T.J. Edwards is a starting linebacker. Why is T.J. Edwards on punt? He should not be on punt. Starters should not be on punt. That, Dave Helman, was a major difference in the game. People on television aren't on special teams, which is why you don't hear this conversation often, but I just have to bring up this conversation. It matters.
It makes perfect sense, and it's bad roster building to have.
Terrible.
Okay, but
terrible.
who are we talking about? When we're talking about the Eagles, since Andy Reid got there, that is a team that is regularly in the playoffs, regularly contending for Super Bowls. Let's quibble all we want. The New York Jets are a man dying of thirst in the desert, and they're going to complain about tap water versus bottle? I don't know about that. No.
Let me ask you two this question on the left side of the table, because I was saying this and I got nearly cussed out for it in the pre-show meeting. Joe Douglas, the general manager of the Jets, outside of Howie Roseman, and Joe Douglas studied under Howie Roseman. He was with the Eagles from 2000 to 2019, is one of the best general managers in football. He had the offensive rookie of the year. He had the defensive rookie of the year. Like, Joe Douglas has built an incredible roster. Don't you, Joy and Dave, and Joy, you and Dave have had a similar thought on this. Don't you all think, let Joe Douglas do his job, because he's done his job really well, and let, outside of quarterback, which he now has actually done his job really well because he got Aaron Rodgers.
Good point.
Don't you think let Joe Douglas do his job and let Rodgers do his job? Because they're both good at it as of late.
Yeah, you're using very sound logic. You're right. It makes sense. It's what you should do.
Right.
And it doesn't bleeping matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's Aaron Rodgers. Because it's Aaron Rodgers and that's what he wants. And you either get a balanced roster or you get Aaron Rodgers.
But you could potentially hurt your team.
But it doesn't, but like, you're right. And they probably will. But Aaron doesn't care about that. And no matter what you say, he's not going to bend on it because that's what he wants. So you either have to decide, do you want Aaron Rodgers and to have this imbalanced roster and perhaps these players hurt the team, or do you stick with Zach Wilson?
Didn't Bruce Arians, because Shady, I think you said this, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Didn't he say no to Tom Brady on some decisions? Like, were there Bruce Arians was the head coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before Todd Bowles. Were there any decisions, any roster moves, hey, I want this guy to start? Was there any a time when he was like, you know what, Tom, you are Tom Brady, the greatest ever, but for the sake of the team, I mean,
some of that stuff Tom wouldn't really, like, push back on, right? I guess if he really wanted it, like, he wanted his guy in the building to help him train, and he would make all the skill positions go to his trainer, Alex, that was in the weight room, stuff like that. But he didn't really push back on a lot of different things. I think with the play calls and all that, if he felt like Tom was uncomfortable, you know, he may ask him, right? And Tom was the most humblest player ever, so he would defer to him, okay, you know, if you want to do this, let's do that. But I might want to run these plays, coach. Yeah. That type of thing.
But personnel, whatever Tom wanted, Tom got.
Yeah, because, I mean, and also you talk about the personnel, like he was bringing in Hall of Fame dudes.
Yeah.
We talking
about arguing about.
But I'm saying,
like damn,
we talking about regular dudes though. And I like Randall Cobb. He has had 1,000 yards in 8 seasons.
So is Rodgers out of pocket then? Like, is Rodgers the one?
No,
that's
it's the GM. It's the front office.
No,
because my thing is let's talk about like
you can't fly to Malibu to woo Aaron Rodgers and then be like, whoa.
He's already there though.
Yes.
First of all, A-Rod's already there.
Oh, so you're gonna lie to Aaron Rodgers? That sounds like a good idea.
That's the NFL. What's he gonna do? He already there.
We already saw what he did.
Yo, this is my thing though. If I'm like, A-Rod, listen, let's talk this out. See, one thing is like you can say things a certain way, because I learned that from working with you guys. I can get my point across without saying what I really want to say. I'm from the era where I just say what I want. But I'm learning how to get better at it. So you like, A-Rod, look, I hear what you're saying. I would love to get them guys, but man, it's some other guys and we can really go get. Man, let's go get Odell Beckham. Because he didn't sign with the Ravens yet. Let's go get guys like that. Let's get some guys that's pretty good. You know what? You don't believe me? Let's watch some tape. Let's watch Alex Lazard.
Yeah.
Let's watch Randall Cobb. Let's watch your guys. Let's watch your guys. And let's watch these other free agents. You see what I'm getting to?
I just want to point out, I mean, like, it's not like like Randall Cobb's not number 2 on the depth chart. We just said that. Okay.
He's money. If I him something.
If I say them all,
him something.
Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, Mecole Hardman, and Corey Davis is not a bad receiver core. It's not the best in the league, but it ain't bad. So if Randall Cobb is the 5th or 6th guy in that group, I don't really care that much.
Who they get rid of? They just got rid of
They traded Elijah Moore to Cleveland.
That's not the one.
He's a good player.
We could have kept him. We could have kept Elijah Moore.
They needed to trade him so they could get Aaron Rodgers.
To get Aaron Rodgers. But I don't know.
They knew they've been making this bed since January. That is when they hired Nathaniel Hackett. Like, they took a long time
and that's not
getting everything right.
But even Nathaniel Hackett, like we had an issue with him as a head coach. I never had a problem with him as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that was like that worked out.
George, I got one final question for George before we go to break. At what point, though, can you blame the Jets? If you're telling me they have to succumb to the requirements of Aaron Rodgers, can you blame the Jets for the shortcomings that will inevitably occur because they had to succumb to the requirements of Aaron Rodgers? Does that question make any sense? Mm-hmm.
This is either going to be a giant chaos pie or a delicious treat of success. Don't know which one yet. I'm just going to watch and enjoy. But whatever happens, everyone signed up for. The Jets knew what they were getting in Aaron Rodgers. This is not a young person, okay? You're not developing into a new man. I feel we'll probably get a lot of the same type of Aaron Rodgers that we've gotten for the last, decade. Don't feel like that's wild. People change. Sure, happens all the time. Maybe I'll be wrong. I feel like I'll be right. We'll see. We'll see. But the Jets signed up for this. Aaron Rodgers signed up for this. The pressure, the Randall Cobb, the Allen Lazard, going to New York, going to the AFC, asking to leave the Packers, talking about how he wants out, pushing for these guys. Everyone together signed up for this situation. So everyone will be held responsible. You can't blame Aaron Rodgers. You can't know someone as well as we know Aaron Rodgers, as well as the league knows Aaron Rodgers, and then act surprised when Aaron Rodgers wants his guys. There's just nothing new.
That's what he does.
He put out a wish list.
That's what he does.
He did do that.
Well, I think he denied that.
Well, we've seen.
Coincidentally, 2 of the 4 guys on the list are now Jets.
So weird.
Incredibly well said.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.